My name is Cassandra Blake. I am 24 years old, and I live in the small town of Silverwood, Texas. Silverwood is like many small towns in America, where everybody knows everybody, and gossip travels faster than the wind. In most ways, I enjoy the closeness of my community, the familiar faces, and the ease of making new friends. However, there is an unspoken challenge that comes along with it, making life unpredictable as well. Sometimes the people closest to you can become the ones who hurt you the most. My journey of dealing with betrayal taught me a thing or two about the true character of people, friendship, and finding inner strength. I was just a typical 24-year-old, trying to create my own path in a world that can feel a bit stifling at times. I had a stable job at the local bakery, and my passion for baking kept me going. There is something soothing about mixing flour and sugar, taking ingredients that seem simple and transforming them into something beautiful and delicious. But just like in a recipe, complications can arise unexpectedly, especially when it comes to friendships. There was a time when I thought I could trust everyone around me. In high school, I had a close-knit group of friends, or so I thought. Among them was my best friend, Derek, a charismatic guy who always drew attention and made people laugh. He had a knack for charming people to his side, and I admired him for that. However, there was a dark side to him that I was slowly beginning to see, one that would later lead to an uproar in my life. The first hint of betrayal came when I started dating a girl named Lucy. Lucy was beautiful, outgoing, and a little wild for my taste. She was the kind of girl everyone wanted to be around, and initially I was thrilled that she was interested in me. However, without realizing it, I had opened a door that would lead to unexpected conflict. My relationship with Lucy was rocky at best. She had a way of getting under my skin, always clinging to that wild streak. But when Derek swooped in, charming her with his captivating smile and sweet talk, I found myself on the losing end of a game I never wanted to play. The moment I learned they were together was like a punch to the gut. I was devastated. I remember the day vividly. I had walked into my favorite coffee shop, hoping to enjoy a peaceful afternoon, only to see them laughing together at a table in the corner. Their body language screamed closeness, and it felt like a knife being twisted in my heart. I felt betrayed, alone, and more than anything, undervalued. Derek, my closest friend, had not only chosen to pursue a girl I liked, but he had also disregarded a friendship that I thought was built on trust. I mean, how could he do this to me? I didn't confront him immediately. Instead, I chose to pull back and watch. I wasn't going to waste my energy on anger or self-pity. I wanted to see where their story went, how their love would unfold. Sure enough, it didn't take long for their relationship to collapse under the weight of its own toxicity. Derek and Lucy's connection was fraught with drama, filled with ups and downs that felt like a roller coaster ride with no safety harness. I watched them from a distance, intrigued but mostly relieved that I had been pulled away from that mess. It was painful to see someone I cared about stuck in a toxic relationship, but there was also a sense of satisfaction in knowing that I was better off without them. The second act of betrayal hit harder than the first and came from a different group of people altogether. After the fallout with Derek and Lucy, I put my faith in a new circle of friends, hoping they could fill the void left behind. Initially, things seemed great. We hung out often, shared laughs, and made plans for the future. But as time went on, I started to notice a shift. It was subtle at first, but gradually, the warmth turned into jealousy. I felt left out, and it was painfully clear that I was slowly being pushed aside. They would chat among themselves, whispering secrets while I remained on the outskirts, trying to smile through the hurt. They acted as if everything was normal, but I could feel the tension lurking beneath the surface. It was like watching a production where I was the forgotten character, cast aside in lieu of a new star about to rise in their realm. Feeling like a ghost in my own life became exhausting. Friends I once felt close to were now simply acquaintances, and that isolation gnawed at me constantly. I tried reaching out, organizing meetups, even being overly enthusiastic in hopes of rekindling our camaraderie. Every effort only seemed to seal my fate further, solidifying my place as the outsider. I had become an unwitting victim of their jealousy, and it was painful to endure, especially in a setting where I thought I would always belong. The tipping point came one day when I asked one of them, Jessica, about an upcoming party. I was excited, wanting to be part of the fun, only to hear the news that they had decided to exclude me from the invitation list. They delivered the news like it was nothing, giggling and whispering amongst themselves. It broke me, leaving me feeling devastated. I was filled with an urge to scream or cry, but I wanted to be stronger than that. Instead of retaliating, I walked away, feeling the weight of betrayal settle over my shoulders like a heavy blanket. As I staggered home, all I could think about was how friendships built on jealousy and competition would never last. It did not take long for things to turn south for those who had thrown me aside. Jessica ended up buying an old, broken-down house, while the others obediently helped her renovate it. It became an endless saga, and I would see their social media posts, complete with snarky captions. My heart sank daily as I remembered the days we used to spend together, but that quickly shifted into a resolve that I was better without their negativity. With every morning that passed, a part of me began to rise from the ashes of despair. Perhaps their friendships would not weather the storm. After all, storms always find a way to expose weaknesses. It was not long before they began to crumble under the weight of their own lives. One of them, Mark, had spent weeks working on the renovations, only to find out that Jessica had no intention of sharing the profits once the place was finally ready. Their friendship ended in utter chaos while I watched from afar, feeling a strange sense of peace. Finally, I took a step back and realized that I did not need to seek revenge nor wallow in anger. I realized I had grown through these experiences, becoming someone who valued self-respect over toxic friendships. Instead of dwelling on their actions or plotting my revenge, I focused on myself. I devoted my time to my baking and took pride in bringing happiness to my bakery and the community around me. The day eventually came when the tables turned completely. I had been working hard, and business was picking up as more people began to recognize my baked goods as the finest around. One day, while I was setting up for a local fair, Jessica strolled in, looking lost and empty. She approached me, trying to reconnect, but I could see the resentment behind her smile. "Saw you are doing well," she said, her tone almost syrupy. I remained calm, looking her in the eyes, my heart steady. "Thank you. Baking is what I love." To my surprise, I found myself feeling sorry for her. I realized that her life was now one filled with regret and envy, the same feelings she had projected onto me. I did not want to be dragged back into that world of negativity. As weeks passed, I continued to build my bakery, trying new recipes and drawing people in with my creations. Meanwhile, I noticed the growing distance between Jessica and her friends. They had not learned their lesson and continued their competitive streak, causing their friendships to unravel. I felt an empowering sense of closure. It was as if the universe had balanced the scales and given me my justice without me ever having to raise a finger. Slowly but surely, Derek and Lucy faded into the background of my mind. Their relationship had played its course, serving as a reminder that sometimes the best revenge is merely to let time take its course. While they struggled through their unpredictable drama, I flourished. In the end, my experience taught me something important. Revenge does not always need to come in the form of action or confrontation. Sometimes, it is about finding your own path and letting others reap what they have sown. Life continually finds ways to offer justice in ways only time can unveil. It's not about anger or bitterness. It is about growth, resilience, and learning to embrace the life you have created when the world wishes to drag you down. Today, I am no longer the girl who let herself be led by the whims of others. I am Cassandra Blake, the baker, the dreamer, the resilient woman who learned the power of letting go and the beauty of watching her own story unfold. Through the pain, I found strength, and ultimately, a peace that comes from knowing that I am exactly where I need to be.